Heyo, and what is up, gang? Thank you for checking out Sledgehammer TV tonight. This is the first Monday Night Raw since the 2019 draft, and tonight was their chance. Tonight was their opportunity to show to us and the entire world that they were going to take all of the new draft picks, they were going to shake things up properly, they were going to do interesting and new things, and they failed to do so. They failed so miserably on another episode of Monday Night Raw that was completely missable and absolutely worth nobody's time. Sure, they gave us one matchup that we have never ever seen before, but they gave it to the worst superstar possible, and we are here to talk about it right here and right now. My name is Nick Nightmare, and you are watching the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show's Monday Night Raw review. Let's do it.
Sledgehammer Wrestling Show.
Just another in a long line of very weird episodes that just didn't seem to make much sense. The WWE couldn't even get to deliver the main event that was promised to us at 8 o'clock. They've been teasing a six-man tag since last week between the OC and the Street Profits and a mystery partner. And that same exact match was offered up to us at 8 p.m. starting Monday Night Raw. By the time we got to the end of the show, it wasn't a six-man tag. Everything was changed, and they didn't even feel the need to explain any of that to us. They didn't make an announcement to the crowd or anything. They felt the need to announce to the crowd before the show. I was seeing reports from WrestleZone.com that they were telling the crowd, if you're wearing an AEW shirt or have an AEW sign, you will be kicked out of the building. They can make that announcement, but they can't announce to us the change in the main event, the reason for the change in the main event. Maybe Kevin Owens' car was late. Kevin Owens as the mystery partner of the Street Profits for tonight's main event turned out to not even be a partnership. It was just the main event debut of the Street Profits, and while the match was good, because the Street Profits are actually good, and they showed you what they can do tonight, it also gets the hammer brought down on it, because it's another further decimation and step down the ladder for the OC. They took AJ Styles and they took Gallows and Anderson and they say, hey, you guys want to be buddies? You guys want to be a faction? We'll put you on the same show and you can do that. But you're going to fucking lose every single time we put you on TV because you're a bunch of losers from New Japan. You were part of that bullet shit and we don't care about you because we didn't create you. That is the fate of the OC. They have done nothing but lose since being formed, and it's terrible to see that. But on the opposite end of that spectrum, it was great to see the Street Profits get a win in their first ever matchup on Monday Night Raw. What Kevin Owens had to do with anything? I don't freaking know. Seems like a last-ditch effort. Maybe they had something else planned, but then it didn't fall through. Maybe Vince changed his mind at the last minute. I don't want to go with Edge. I don't want to go with Cedric Alexander. Who else is here? Who's ready to go? Get Kevin Owens. It seems that random. That's what Monday Night Raw feels like. They want to take an Humberto Carrillo and they want to put him in the ring with the Universal Champion in his first match ever on Monday Night Raw. And while that could be a good thing if the Universal Championship was on the shoulders of the right wrestler, this was terrible to do to a debuting kid. Do you know why? Not because he was wearing a black Power Ranger suit without the mask. Not because his English is mediocre at best. Not because nobody even knows who he is because he was making his waves and name in 205 Live and nobody gives a shit about that show either and nobody knows anything about him. For none of those reasons was this bad. This was bad because they put him in there with Seth Rollins. The same Seth Rollins that the entire wrestling universe hates right now. The biggest babyface in the world to be hated since the days of Roman Reigns. And that's not far off, but my God. At this point, when you see what has happened to Seth Rollins, you can't help but blame the WWE for the way we felt about Roman Reigns all those years ago. It wasn't even so much the character, it was just the WWE's incessant need to keep trying to make these guys look cool. Oh, we're going to let Seth Rollins have this match with Humberto Carrillo. He's going to get over the new little guy. He's going to look so cool. He's going to look so... Everybody's going to love him because he gave this kid a great match. We'll have them have a show of respect at the end. They'll shake hands. Nobody cared about that match in the arena. I certainly didn't really care about that match. It doesn't matter if you have a 4-star matchup if I don't give a shit about the guys that are involved in the ring. What reason do you have to care about Humberto Carrillo in his first appearance? What reason do you have to care about Seth Rollins anymore? 99.9% of the people that watch this channel know and hate everything that has gone on with Seth Rollins, especially as it pertains to The Fiend and all of the nonsense from the Hell in a Cell up until now. You can't make a new star by having him beat somebody that nobody cares about. When Seth Rollins made this matchup, Seth Rollins was backstage. He was giving an interview to Charlie Caruso. He sees Humberto standing in the Black Power Ranger suit, and he says, "Hey kid, I heard you talk some shit about me earlier this evening when you had your very weird and awkward promo. I heard you say my name, and you said you're not going to burn things down like me. That's great. We're going to have this match. And while all this is going on, the crowd is chanting, CM Punk, CM Punk. And we all hate that. I'm a big CM Punk fan. I hate when the crowd does that. But it is their disapproval. It is the crowd's rebellion. CM Punk is being chanted at your Universal Champion while he's talking to Humberto Carrillo, making this matchup. You know what? Humberto could have went out there and actually wrestled CM Punk. CM Punk could have came back tonight for the first time ever. He could have wrestled Humberto Carrillo in his first matchup on Monday Night Raw, and Carrillo would be way more over. People would have gave a shit. People would have been like, holy cow, who is this kid that just went toe-to-toe with Punk in his return? Oh, it would have been so much more meaningful. But no. Not that I expected that. Not that anybody expects that. But my point being, you could have put him in there with anybody else. And he could have had the exact same match. And it would have gone over way more. You could have had him go out there and lose to Andrade. Instead of giving us Andrade versus Sin Cara for the 50th time. Andrade's beaten Sin Cara twice already since 2018. What makes you think he's not going to beat him again? Why would you even care to see this match again? Why wouldn't you take Carrillo and do something special with him, like put him against an Andrade? Let them burn it down and leave Seth Rollins for whatever the hell you got to do with The Fiend. You didn't need to insert him in this unnecessary matchup to put over this kid. Oh, look how cool Seth Rollins is. He's such a good dude. Seth Rollins, he's such a nerd. He's such a good dude. He put over Carrillo. Did you see that match, man? What does it mean? Doesn't mean anything. Oh, he's going to be a big star now. No, he's not. No, he's not. Is Buddy Murphy a big star yet? How many great matches have we seen from Buddy Murphy? A lot. It might only be 3, but that's a lot for Buddy Murphy right now. He went out there and killed it on Monday Night Raw. Was he made into a big star? What about Ali? Ali's been killing it on a weekly basis every time they put him in the ring. Is he really being pushed and elevated up the card? Is it going to do anything for him? No. How long is it till Humberto Carrillo is on Monday Night Raw losing constantly to everybody? Putting on great matches, but constantly losing. That's not how you want to build up new stars. Do something a little bit better with your outfit game. Now you want to do something a little bit special. We're going to break out the poop hammer for Monday Night Raw. And I'm not switching to an actual hammer made of poop. We're just going to pop up the graphic. It is time to bring out the poop hammer for this episode of the Monday Night Raw review, because I just cannot stomach this whole Rusev-Lana, Bobby Lashley scenario. Listen. If Rusev don't give a shit, why should I? That's a serious question. I want you to answer that. You could drop your hammers down in the comments section and let me know. Why should you care if Rusev can't even muster up a little bit of gusto and be mad that his wife's getting railed by a milk dud? Why are you standing there with literally no emotion? Jerry the King Lawler is poking at you with all of these questions. And this is Rusev. The crowd starts whatting Jerry the King Lawler. Rusev cares more about the crowd disrespecting Jerry the King Lawler than Lana disrespecting their marriage. You telling me he don't deserve a poop hammer? Rusev, this is the very same Rusev that we used to see getting all flustered and pissed and screaming with rage and Rusev Crush and Machka and all this brah, right? Where's all that? Where's all that? Did you lose your balls? I don't understand. Did you give your balls to Lana already? And now you don't have them anymore? Are you lacking testosterone? Did you do something because of that stupid mustache that you have? Did it like revert you back into the 1970s when men had no balls? Since you look like Tom Selleck on steroids? Like, I don't understand. How could you not be furious? How could you not have any emotion? How could you be so pale-faced and boring? And then finally, at the end of this thing that he struggled through with Jerry the King Lawler, which was a goddamn disaster. Goddamn disaster. He goes to find Lana and Milk Dud Lashley, who are out on a date somewhere in some stage that they set up in the back. Rusev finds them, just like Seth Rollins found the Firefly Funhouse. We have no idea how he found them, but Rusev knew where they were because it was some special restaurant that Lana wants to eat at that Rusev never takes us out. And then Rusev goes to this fucking restaurant. So then we go to this segment later on, and here's another reason why the poop hammer's coming down on Rusev. This segment where he crashes this dinner. Oh, God. Rusev is standing at the podium, being held back by a maitre d' that looked like Marco Stump. And yes, I said Stump. How is he not barreling in there like a beast? Breaking over the podium, flipping tables, throwing little Marco Stunt bellhop waiter guy over his head, elbowing people. This is the Bulgarian Brute, and he's standing there being held back by a guy in a bow tie. What am I watching? Why are we watching this? The whole time Lana is screaming like a shill, just... Ah! I swear to God, I thought my ears were going to bleed. I thought my eyes were going to decide to go blind on their own. They're like, you know what? You've been watching too much of this shit. We're your eyeballs, and you don't deserve to torture yourself, and we're just going to make you blind. I thought that was going to happen. But it didn't happen. Didn't happen. Whole lot of absolutely awful promo work on this evening, and that goes for everyone. Every single promo on this night, from everything that Rusev said, from everything we heard Lashley and Lana saying in the restaurant, to Humberto Carrillo's promo, to the OC's promo, to the Street Profits. Everything is way too overscripted, and you know what I could point to show you that is absolute fact? The proof I have is the opening of this show. Monday Night Raw began tonight with Ric Flair. Woo! Nature Boy. 70 what years old. Guy had more fire, more passion in his voice, in the delivery of his promo, than the entirety of the new generation of stars on this main roster combined. And I don't give a shit what reason. You could tell me Ric Flair was drunk. You could tell me I don't care. I don't care. Ric Flair came out there with his mouth full of marbles. Gave you more energy, more excitement. You don't give a shit about this Crown Jewel matchup, but how could you not get hype with the way that the Nature Boy was talking? And then when the segment is all said and done, you realize that once again, as we say on this show all the time, The legends need to go away. And they need to not have screen time to this extent. Because when you have a 70-year-old man going out there and killing a promo better than the rest of your superstars, that's not really a good look for the main roster. You could barely understand a word out of the guy's mouth. He was talking nonsense. We're going to Saudi. We're doing this. We're doing that. Woo! But he believed it. He was excited. He had conviction. Ric Flair was hype. And it makes you hype. That shit transcends through the TV. I don't care at all about this match, but I was like, damn, Flair's having a good time. And that's what's missing. And the rest of the show, you have all these, well, we're going to read this now. And why are the Street Profits the spokespersons of this and that? We are the most charismatic team ever. Want to run that back one more time with a little more chutzpah in your voice? Maybe have Luke Gallows tickle your balls a little bit, give you a little bit of the gigglies, get you to show something. Stop just fucking reading. Live it. Feel the moment. Make a moment. Make us care. They don't make us care. Ric Flair made me care. Then he wanted to unveil his final member of Team Flair for Crown Jewel. And it's Drew McIntyre, which is fine. We all knew Drew was ready to come back. He fits the bill perfectly. I really don't care one way or another about his involvement with this matchup. None of us care about the Crown Jewel. I don't know how many times we're going to say that during this episode and the episodes to come as we continue to lead towards this piece of trash. But they want to give us a matchup between Drew McIntyre and Ricochet. Goddamn, it was a good match. It was damn near 20 minutes of very solid action. But you have a roster of new superstars to play with, and you decide to give us a rematch. A match that we had seen how many times over? How many times did we see Alistair Black and Ricochet in their tag team duo teamed with a third member to go up against Drew McIntyre and whatever three-man band he's with this week? I'm tired of it. You could have used Ricochet to fight Humberto Carrillo. Or even Drew McIntyre. There's different. There's something different. You don't need Seth Rollins to do it. You don't think Drew McIntyre could have got that kid over with a great match? Why'd you have to sacrifice and have Ricochet lose? Why? Ricochet's another one, just like the OC. They build him up. They gave him a little something special. And now he's just been back to the mat almost every single time we see him. Drew McIntyre did defeat Ricochet in this very impressive matchup. One of the things I want to point out is after the match, Drew McIntyre attacked Ricochet and then gave him a double underhook DDT and slammed him with an Alabama slam face first into the steel steps, which was very, very vicious. Took me by surprise a little bit. I thought that was a little bit crazy. I don't know where they're really going. If this is going to continue with their feud, I don't want to see this anymore. You're lucky you got this one more by me tonight. And while the match quality was good, I don't appreciate the fact that you're giving me the same shit you were giving me when we were on Monday Night Raw 6 months ago. So what does the brand split and the new rosters matter when we're still getting the same old garbage? They wanted to show me Cardale Jones. Who? I'm sorry, I said Cardale Jones. Who? Do I give a shit about the XFL? Has the XFL played one game? No. So why do we care? Because Vince McMahon wants us to care. Have Cardale Jones sitting at ringside so I can promote my XFL. Fuck out of here with that. Then we had the OC talking to Charlie Caruso, talking about why they want to get the smoke. Why does the Street Profits want to get the smoke? AJ Styles, you can't have the smoke. It's illegal over here. Are you kidding? Who is writing this? What kind of nonsense is this? Guys trying to deliver one-liners and they're landing worse than a plane with no wings. God damn. It's awful. They aired a quick video package of Andrade, Cien Almas, Buddy Murphy, who was missing in action from me. How about that? Buddy Murphy versus Ricochet. We could have had that match. I would have loved to see that again. Buddy Murphy versus Drew McIntyre. Buddy Murphy and Humberto Carrillo maybe could have went out there and lit it up against each other. Give us something new and exciting to grasp onto. But no. Hey, here's another great idea. You got Alistair Black. Alistair Black, who they want to go and do these freaking promos in the back. And I don't understand them. The verbiage in them doesn't make them easy to understand. He's trying to be cryptic, but he sounds more creepy and just stupid. And I don't understand it. I don't like this package for Alistair Black. I don't like what they're doing with him at all. I think this is the type of guy that needs a manager. Like a real manager. Not like a valet, like a Zelina Vega or something, but like a legit manager that can stand there and talk the talk and really put the guy over. And Alistair Black is more of the superstar that's cast in that silent light, man. He was so good in NXT because he barely ever spoke. And when he did speak, he said like one or two words, maybe a sentence or two. He wasn't giving us 2-minute long soliloquies about how he wants somebody to pick a fight with me. And then we go to a ring. Why is he waiting for somebody to pick a fight if he has a match booked? So I'm sitting there thinking, all right, Alistair Black is making his way to the ring. Somebody's got to come out and pick a fight with him. So in my head, I'm booking all these great matches. I'm saying Alistair Black versus Buddy Murphy right now would be great. It would be a great thing to do no matter win or lose. They could tear it down if they gave him a good enough amount of time. They could put each other over and it would be fantastic. I'm thinking Andrade versus Alistair Black in this moment. You got Zelina Vega on the outside. That's something they could explore down the line too. You could have them both align with each other and have Zelina as the manager, and now we have a much needed tag team formed together that makes sense because in reality they are all good friends. You could do things like that, but they don't want to do anything cool and different. They want to give Alistair Black Jason Reynolds. Who? Jason Reynolds. I'm sorry, who? Yes, Jason Reynolds. It's a nobody, a jobber match that lasted 2 minutes. And it's not lost on me that just last week in AEW there was a jobber named Reynolds as well. In case you missed that. What are this, the extended family of Dennis and Deandra Reynolds? Are these the wrestling versions of Sunny in Philadelphia? I don't understand. Where are all these Reynolds coming from? The amazing Flying Reynolds brothers. Team them together. Do something. Going off on a tangent because I don't know who the fuck Jason Reynolds is. I don't know why I should know. I don't know why you should care. I don't know why 6 months after he's debuted on the main roster, Alistair Black is getting squash matches against nobodies. This is a man that clearly has a bigger and better persona than 90% of your main roster. He's got a specialness to his character. He has a great entrance. He's got a great theme song. He's got a great look. And you're making him do all the things that he's not good at. Absolutely awful. Awful. Just as bad this was as the AOP taped promo segment. One thing I hated about this was that they said, the AOP, that Raw signed them not because they wanted to sign them to Raw. Monday Night Raw didn't sign us because they wanted us. They just signed us so SmackDown Live can't have us. Or Friday Night SmackDown, rather. What? Did they really just say that? Is WWE letting the cat out of the bag? They might as well change SmackDown to AEW because that's what they're doing to everyone else on the roster. They're keeping all these people under contract. They're not using anybody, and the only reason they're keeping them is that so they don't go to the other show. Are they really throwing that in our face here? Oh, well, they don't want us because we're former NXT tag team champions and they don't want us because we're the most dominant team. Raw doesn't want to build a decent tag team division. They don't want domination. They don't want anything great. They just don't want us to be over there. After this came the whole King's Court with Rusev and his ridiculous mustache coming out there just absolutely devoid of any emotion whatsoever. Jerry the King Lawler, like I was mentioning earlier, he was just kind of asking Rusev all of the obvious questions, like, what do you think about what's going on? And Rusev's like, well, I still wear my wedding band because, I really have hope that we're going to get through this and become lovers one day again, and it will end happily ever after. And the only happily after I'm waiting for is 11:01 p.m. Rusev says this is all Bob Lashley's fault. Bob Lashley, like he likes to do. And that he will be crushed. He finally gets a little mad after, Lana and Rusev say some shit to him from the restaurant. And they love each other and blah. Lawler asks Rusev for his response. Rusev, I'm going to respond to them in person because I know where they are. And he ran off. I guess he's got the same GPS system that Seth Rollins has that shows us all these secret locations that we're not supposed to know. And I'm not supposed to realize that, oh no, Rusev is just at some fucking random room in the arena backstage that they made to look like a restaurant. I'm not supposed to know about that. I'm not supposed to see that. They didn't film a segment with him on the street or anything like that to make me think that he even left the arena, much like they did, and I complained about Seth Rollins. How the fuck did he find the Firefly Funhouse? We'll never know. We'll never know. Rusev knows where they are. Great. Go get him, Rusev. Andrade with Zelina Vega defeated Sin Cara. This match was way longer than I expected. I thought this was going to be a squash match of Sin Cara within minutes, but I'll give them a little bit of credit where credit's due. They gave these guys a nice amount of time to work. Maybe a little bit too much. You might think I'm nitpicking at this point because we did get a decent matchup between these two, but in the end, what do any of these good matches mean for any of these guys? Nothing. We've seen Andrade beat Sin Cara before. If they are going to continue going from here, if this is the start of a feud between the two of them again, it's not a road that I want to go down. So I don't care. And it wasn't great. It's not great. If that's their plan. Like, the match was good, but the whole thought process, if that's what they're doing, it's just awful. Absolutely awful. There was one spot in this matchup where we went to commercial, and they had the picture-in-picture thing going on. And somehow Sin Cara was making a comeback, and Vic Joseph is like, oh, when we come back from the break, Andrade was in control during the whole thing. I'm like, what? It was crazy. After this matchup, we had the backstage interview with Humberto Carrillo, who told Charlie Caruso he has a great respect for Andrade. He knew Andrade and Zelina Vega were a package deal in hopes that he could win a championship before Andrade one day, and it was not even said as well as I'm saying it right now. It's not even at all. But it was a terrible promo. And he was standing there in his ridiculous suit. He says, oh, I'm going to be a great champion, but not one that plays with fire like Seth Rollins. I'm wondering why they gave this line to the kid to say, but it's very predictable to me at this point. It's just like, holy shit, man. They're going to give him a match with Seth Rollins before the end of the night. And that would definitely come to be. The OC did a little segment talking about possible people that may be their partner to main event this evening, even though there's already... I guess they were still under the impression that they were having a six-man. I don't know. At least I was at this point. They talked about it maybe being Ric Flair or Booker T or Kurt Angle. Obviously, it was none of those guys. Then we have the 24/7 Championship. Remember last week when Monday Night Raw during the draft went to the goons on USA that were just like, oh, we got R-Truth. When they drafted him, they were all hyped and all excited. We got R-Truth, yeah. 7 days later, R-Truth is losing the 24/7 championship to Sunil Singh. Sunil Singh. If I have to stomach any more of this 24/7, I'm a clown, hey, look at me, avocado toast, gold-plated championship, I think I might throw up. I literally might throw up during Raw. You know, I had an avocado on my sandwich today for dinner in honor of the Hey Look at Me, I'm a Clown 24/7 Avocado Championship title, plated in gold. That's notwithstanding. I'm just thought I'd bring it up because that fact that I gave you about my ham sandwich is more interesting than anything that happened with R-Truth tonight. Good pick! You think maybe they were just happy to get the 24/7 championship? Because if they were happy to get R-Truth, they're certainly not happy about it now. The tag team champions, the Viking Warrior Raiders, defeated Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins in a non-title match in under 5 minutes. Do you care? Do you care? This is nothing more than a glorified jobber match. Squash match. You got Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder, who haven't won a match since probably 2015 sometime, coming together before the matchup saying, oh, this might be our chance. We're tired of being the underdogs. We're going to be winners. We're going to be in this greatest tag team battle royal tournament, whatever the hell it is, at the Crown Jewel. And then you go out there and lose in less than 5 minutes. Nobody gives a shit. The Viking Warriors actually gave them some offense in this matchup. I'm wondering why. If they were going to beat them in 4 minutes flat anyway, why bother giving Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder time to execute a headlock and keep one of the Viking Warrior Raiders down for even more than half a second? If they're going to be dominant champions and just take care of them. But this isn't what we should have been seeing. We should have had some other team fighting Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins to try to establish momentum and maybe start a winning streak and maybe find a way to actually deserve a tag team championship down the line. You know, building each team off of each other. Because that's what an actual wrestling program would do. Much like we're seeing in the AEW tag team tournament. Nobody knows these teams. Everybody's tuning in for the first time, and you're seeing great tag team action from these teams that matter. The action matters. The matches matter. Because they're leading towards a champion. They don't do that. And you don't need a tournament to be in place to do that. All you need to do is have matches within your tag team division between your established tag teams and have them get wins and losses. It's not the champion's job to constantly be defending their mountaintop 24/7. That's what gold-plated avocado clown championships are for. Champions are supposed to be special. They're supposed to be enjoying the fruits of their labor, sitting back and chilling until their next big fight, which should really only be at major Raws or pay-per-view. That's how you get people interested. You don't give us the Viking Raiders every week. You make them stand on the entrance ramp and watch other people fight each other to see who deserves a shot at the Raiders. You don't have them just going out there and wiping the whole tag team division clean as the champions, because then who's going to challenge them? And why should we care? Terrible booking decision. We went back to Lana and Lashley at the restaurant. Some idiot came over and was like, oh, we heard that your husband's going to be here. You're going to have to leave because I don't want my restaurant to be destroyed and in a mess. So who in the restaurant is watching Monday Night Raw? And if they have Monday Night Raw on the screen in the restaurant, why is Lashley and Lana not aware of this themselves already? Who told this guy? Somebody from Raw call the restaurant and tell it? No. Let's stop this, please. Let's just stop the whole goddamn thing. And then it is only made worse, like I was mentioning, by Rusev coming in there with no fire. He didn't care. He didn't look like he wanted to get at Rusev. He was just standing there waiting for his cue. Standing there letting some little guy hold him back from beating up the milk dud that's railing his old lady. I'll never understand it. It was terribly directed. Whoever had that segment should be fired. Whoever wrote this entire storyline should be fired, because not only is it in poor taste, it is just dreadful to watch when your performers can't act. Lana is awful. Bobby Lashley can't even remember his lines, and Rusev looks like he don't give a shit. So if he don't care, I certainly don't care. The third hour of this show begins with a promo by Rey Mysterio. A very, very awful, long-winded promo for him to say thank you to the fans for the 1,000th time since he's been back. Like, Rey Mysterio's like a sad sack to me, man. He's just a sad sack. He comes out and he gets beat up. He tries to have a match. He botches a few times. He's not what he used to be. He's very much like the AEW champion Chris Jericho. You're a step past your prime. You don't need to be in the ring doing this stuff anymore. Just live off the fact that you're Rey Mysterio. Maybe at some point we're going to have to see the giant baby man son Dominic in the ring and let Tiny Dad be the manager on the outside, because I just look at Rey Mysterio and I just feel bad. He makes me feel sorrow for him, and I don't know why that is. I don't know if there's a passion in his eyes, or maybe he's broken himself because he wants to be Rey Mysterio and he knows he can't. And now he's out there with his arm in a sling talking about Cain Velasquez. And nobody cared. People cared more about Rey saying thank you than they cared when he started to bring up his cousin, his familia. The godfather of Giant Baby Man son. Nobody cares. They gave Velasquez some of the worst music I've ever heard. He came out to the sound of chirping crickets. Cleveland has got to be aware of the UFC, right? They know what's up. They don't know nor care about Cain Velasquez. I did not care about Paul Heyman popping up and bringing up the fact that 9 years ago, Cain Velasquez scarred Brock Lesnar. Gives a damn about 9 years ago. And what does that have to do with now? Nothing. You are absolutely out of your mind to be teasing the possibility of this man being the WWE champion when he hasn't even had one match. Not one. His first match ever, he's going to win the WWE Championship and beat Brock Lesnar? The before Seth Rollins unbeatable Brock Lesnar? This isn't going to be Brock Lesnar being given a chance to make up for that loss? You don't think by bringing that up so much, you're making it a little bit too predictable? That Brock Lesnar in his house, because the WWE is his house, not Cain Velasquez's fucking house. Brock Lesnar was born in the WWE. He went to the UFC, took over for there, now he came back. This is Brock's house. You think he's going to lose to Cain Velasquez? They wouldn't let him lose to Roman Reigns. Stop it. All this needs to stop as quickly as the whole Lashley-Rusev thing just needs to stop. Needs to stop. One thing I forgot to mention, I have to bring this back. We're going to take a step back and talk about Lashley and Rusev one more time. Because there was 1 minute, and I have to get this joke out here. Because it's been in my head all day, and I'm mad at myself that I forgot. So listen, if you follow me on Twitter, you've seen this, and you know what I'm going to say. But there was a moment when Rusev was out there. I'm like, this guy really don't give a shit. I wouldn't be half surprised to see him turn around and tell the King, hey, you know what, King? I'm good, man. I'm good with it. And we're going to be a new tag team. We're going to be called the Hung Cucks. And Lana's going to be our manager. And then when we're done tearing up the tag team division, we're going to tear up Lana's ass. I'm sorry. Had to get that out there. That was way more entertaining than anything we had to stomach with Cain Velasquez, Rey Mysterio, and Paul Heyman. I didn't care about any of this. This was made a little bit more interesting by the appearance of Shelton Benjamin, which I thought was kind of out of place, but it did somewhat make sense. He was, in reality, Brock's running buddy back in their days in college. That's a completely true story, and I don't mind when they want to bring some of that into the mix. It just seems a little bit out of whack and off-putting because Shelton Benjamin has been doing nothing as of late. All of a sudden, we're supposed to care about Shelton Benjamin. He's been showing up, smiling at the camera, and walking away. He had a nice little match with with Chad Gable, and that was it. All of a sudden, he wants to come out and defend the honor of Brock Lesnar? What? It was interesting, but that doesn't mean it made sense. And I didn't really like it all that much. He was starting to push around Rey Mysterio, which means that Shelton Benjamin's only purpose in life was to get his ass kicked by Cain Velasquez, and nobody gave a shit. You didn't, I didn't, nobody in Cleveland cared, and nobody can blame him. This is when we got the interview with Seth Rollins backstage where he was saying, oh, maybe the Fiend got inside my head, but maybe I got inside the Fiend's head. What? Then the CM Punk chant started. He saw Carrillo in the distance. He goes over to talk to him. I heard what you said earlier, kid. Being a champion's about doing what's right. So I burned down the Firefly Funhouse, man. He welcomed Carrillo to Raw, offered him a matchup for some unknown godly reason. And that was going to happen later on tonight. There was this strange segment where we had to see The Undertaker on a float in a parade in Saudi Arabia. And while this segment was more colorful and more inspiring and more entertaining than most of the segments on the rest of the show, I don't understand why we're seeing this. Why do we, who don't give a shit about this parade in Saudi Arabia, have to see The Undertaker on a float? This is The Undertaker. We don't want to see him on floats, waving like the fucking Queen of England. Rest in peace. What the fuck is he doing? The Universal Champion Seth Rollins defeated Humberto Carrillo in a non-title matchup that went about 13, 14 minutes, I would say. It was a nice amount of time, and it was some pretty decent spots in the matchup. The kid looked great. Seth Rollins could have given him the perfect, best, most 5-star-like match. It could have been a 6-star Meltzer special. And by next week, nobody's going to give a shit. Because much like all of the cruiserweight-style wrestlers before him, he's going to have this exposure, and then he's going to fade away into the nothingness of Monday Night Raw. Standing back in catering, waiting on a line for some good food. Standing probably behind Dana Brooke, trying to wait to get the hell into catering. Dana Brooke's on SmackDown now, I think. I don't even know anymore. Who cares? This match was awful. Nobody cared about anything that happened here. Then we went back to the 24/7, hey, look at me, I'm a clown, avocado toast, gold-plated championship. R-Truth rolled up Samir Singh to try to get the win, but the referee didn't count because it was the wrong Singh brother. Next, the Street Profits defeated Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson with AJ Styles at their side. This was the end of Monday Night Raw. It went almost 15 minutes. Kevin Owens did not come out at the beginning of this as the surprise partner. This match was made into a tag team matchup, even though it was booked and promoted the whole night as a 6-man. Then we get just a basic tag team matchups. The Street Profits looked great. You know, Gallows and Anderson did a good job getting them over. This really was not worthy let's try that again. Worthy to me, in my opinion, to be the main event of the evening. I understand trying to make the Street Profits debut special, but all of the extra that added to its main event feel, the surprise third guy. Who's the third man? Is it Hogan? Is it Flair? No. It's Kevin Owens. It's a choice that doesn't make all that much sense. He hasn't had anything to do with AJ Styles in the last couple of months. He's been busy with Shane McMahon. And all of a sudden, Kevin Owens is going to just be there for the Street Profits. I mean, I guess I wouldn't be so down on it if he would have came out and they would have had the six-man. I would have probably enjoyed seeing Kevin Owens in the ring against the OC. It probably would have been interesting, but this is just a way for them probably to extend it and have the six-man next week because they have no other ideas because they don't plan ahead. And that was clearly illustrated by tonight's episode of Monday Night Raw. This entire episode did absolutely nothing. It did nothing. It did nothing to get you hype for the crown jewel. It did nothing to really put over Humberto Carrillo. All it did was put him in your consciousness. Now you know who he is so that you could be disappointed when the WWE fails him on every level like they've done everybody else. Other than that, there is nothing to take away from tonight's Monday Night Raw. There was no women's action on this night. Not one women's matchup, which I found very strange. That's supposed to be happening in Saudi Arabia. The women are not allowed to compete. You're in Cleveland, Ohio. You couldn't figure out one women's match? What, Becky Lynch wasn't around with the championship for you to make her defend or to make her lose to somebody? You couldn't have picked two girls? Any two random Monday Night Raw girls and just given them a match, giving somebody some exposure, give them a good solid showing instead of all these promos we had tonight. 3 hours of wrestling, we had about 5 matches. Definitely could have thrown a women's matchup in there. A women's tag team title defense. An appearance by somebody. All of a sudden nobody cares. Because you fucked everything up so much and Becky Lynch's main rival is now on SmackDown? So you don't know what to do? We'll just leave the girls off the show. Terrible. Absolutely awful. And that is your review for tonight's Monday Night Raw. There's nothing really much else I can say. I think I got it all out there. This show was absolutely fucking terrible. Just terrible. The draft did nothing to change it. You know, maybe I'm the idiot for being hopeful, thinking that things are going to move in a different direction when obviously we are just going to continue spiraling down this hole that's just seemingly never ending, and I just don't know what to do. As a fan, I don't know what to do. There's nothing we can do collectively except sit here at wonderful wrestling channels like this one, convene together my wonderful congregation of brothers and sisters in the Sledgehead Army, and get it out there. Vent. Get your feelings out too right now. Make sure, if you haven't already, you leave me a nice comment in the comment section down below. Drop your hammers down if you feel the need. Just use the hammer emoji, whichever one floats your boat. There's a couple of them to choose. I don't care which one. Just bring your own hammers down and let the whole world feel your pain with you. Don't forget, if you enjoyed anything we had to do here today, to smash that like button and share this video with each and every one of your wrestling buddies all over the wrestling world, especially if maybe they were a little bit too accepting of tonight's Monday Night Raw just because they're so desperate for change that they can't see through the fog. And then you can invite them to subscribe, which I hope you guys will consider to do right now as well. We have finally made it comfortably over the 2,000 subscriber mark, and now we are on to 3K and beyond, and we need the help of awesome wrestling fans like you to do so. So please consider giving us a subscribe and hitting that notification button today so you don't miss anything at all on this channel. Things like everything wrong with the Wednesday Night War. A lot of you guys haven't come out to watch that when we dropped it Saturday night like we promised, and it is there live with the Poop Hammer for last Wednesday. Which team, which brand won the Poop Hammer in the Wednesday Night War? I wouldn't really call it winning, since it's not the kind of award that you want to receive, but somebody received it, and you need to go check that out right now. If you don't care about the Wednesday Night War and you don't give a shit, you could check out our Hell in a Cell review. You can check out Everything Wrong with last week's SmackDown Live, or if you enjoy something a little bit different, a little change of pace, and you like to watch some art come to life right before your very eyes, you can watch me draw the legit boss Sasha Banks in the latest what's the word I wanted? The latest, it was an episode, but I was going to say something else. Anyway, the latest episode, man, I botched that. Hammer on me. Of the Sledgehammer shorts. Watch me draw Sasha Banks. It's 1.5 hours worth of detailed pencil sketching contrived into, I don't know if that's the right word, I'm tired, it's getting late, smashed into a 3-minute speed drawing video. I hope you guys enjoy it. It'll be worth your time. It's definitely more worth your time than having to sit through the last 30 seconds or so of me trying to get this outro done with, because Monday Night Raw has melted my brain on another Monday night. So don't forget to do all of those things, like, share, subscribe, become a part of the Sledgehead Army today. Some of you guys are asking for t-shirts. I got them in the works, and we will be dropping them soon because the holidays are coming, and nothing says holidays like spending money on stuff you don't need. But it's a great way to show your love and support for the channel, and you can continue to do so just by coming here and watching each and every video that we put up, just like this one. My name is Nick Nightmare. This is the Team Thor, the Sledgehammer, the official Sledgehammer of the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. His tag team partner, the World Heavyweight Champion of all the microphones in all the world, Mr. Blue, the Snowball, the most important member of the team, as always, is each and every one of you. That is going to do it, and we are out of here, and we will see you next time right here on your new favorite wrestling show, the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, only on Sledgehammer TV, right here on YouTube.com. Boom. This show sucked.